One day more. Another day, another destiny. This never-ending road to Calvary. It is the penultimate day of the New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax 2020, day 18. It's the final day of B Block. We are almost at the final. We already know that one of the finalists is Kota Ibushi, who secured his place on yesterday's show. I've just been told by Tempest that he's been up all night drinking, partying, and he's high on caffeine. So, Tempest, why don't you run us through the card for today and tell us why each match is important and who could still make it to that final alongside Kota Ibushi?
I think I just might. Randy, Andy, Datson, thank you for the introduction. Last night was Age of Ultron. Today is Infinity War. Tomorrow is the end game. We are in the end game now. First of all, I would like to thank the one and only Savannah Hamilton for staying up all night and having a lovely drink and catch up with me, giving me the opportunity to be super jittery and slightly boozed up, ready for tonight's show. So thank you, Sav. Always appreciated. That being said, the only three people that you really need to keep your eye on in this night's action are Tetsuya Naito, Sonata, and Evil, two of which current Los Ingobernables de Japón members, the third, the former Los Ingobernables de Japón member. Now, the card for tonight's show, give me one quick moment, I will pull that up. Of course, I'm not prepared, as I should be, but what can you do? So the first show, or the first match, between two of the bigger losers of the Savannah Hamilton in the comments there. You rock, Tempest. No, you rock, Savannah. You rock.
All right, get a room.
Hey now. The first match on the show is Toriano versus Yoshi. Hoshi. Again, two losers in that match. We will have to see who comes out on top. Kind of the losers bracket there. Juice Robinson versus Haruki Goto. Again, another losers match. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Zack Sabre Jr., which should be a very good match. You may not enjoy it. And then beyond that, Tetsuya Naito will face Kenta in a rematch of this year's New Beginning in Osaka main event. And in the main event, the battle of tag team partners Sonata versus Evil. Now, things to keep in mind here. The only people, as I said, still in play are Evil, Sonata, and Tetsuya Naito. In order for Evil to win, he just needs to win. If he wins, he's through. He makes it to the final. So he controls his own destiny. Sonata needs to win, and he needs Tetsuya Naito to lose. So Naito loses to Kenta. Sonata still has a chance. Otherwise, not so much. And Naito, if he's going to make it through, he needs to win, and he needs Sonata to beat Evil or for there to be a draw in the main event. Everybody got that?
No, but I can't wait. Something horrifying has just happened on my desk. I have a glass of water from last night, and I just looked over to it, and a giant spider was in the water.
Don't you have like a peppermint something or other to catch?
But not in my bedroom.
Oh dear!
But I will show you. Probably I don't know if you can see it, but there is a spider
right on
in the water, and it is still moving, so it must have just gone in there because I only just noticed it. I don't really want to drink that anymore.
No.
Although I do have, to keep me awake, I've got a glass of Pepsi and a hot chocolate. So I don't know which one to drink. I don't know which one to drink. I'll probably drink the hot chocolate first because I think I'll have a weird flavor in my mouth if I drink the hot chocolate then the Pepsi.
It's a party in your mouth and everyone's invited.
Don't start that because, well, I mean, what happened yesterday.
Oh yes, I do remember. I'm very familiar.
I'm not just going to drink it. I don't enjoy my water laced with arachnid. Let's read a few of the comments. We got some completely delusional person in the chat called Savannah Hamilton saying, "You rock, Tempest." Papa Dork, calm down, guys. Who is she? Is she your friend?
She's a very good friend of mine. We went to university together.
Well, maybe you should just go to the church and get married together.
Ooh.
We've got Robert Jimenez saying, why are time zones a thing? Everyone should be asleep right now everywhere. It's 1 a.m. I can't staying up watching this. It's not fair. Well, Robert, you should be doing that. Papa Dork says, time to drink my pain away from the Braves losing and watch some New Japan. Oh, did they lose?
Sounds like it. I did not check the scores of last night's baseball game. I will be perfectly honest.
The baseballs. I can't believe it. Savannah seems to agree that you should be going to the church and getting married. Savannah, he's seeing someone else, I'm afraid.
She's aware.
Well, she clearly doesn't care. I mean, she is.
Don't get anyone in trouble here.
She is called Savannah, so she's probably pretty wild.
Sure.
Because lions live on the savannah.
I see. Yeah.
You
make all the sense.
Rondi Datson, that started yesterday. Be sure to share the link to this on Twitter, Facebook, wherever you can. Get as many people watching as possible. It is time for our Young Lions match. Oh, I do hope that this doesn't keep going with this little 3-screen thing. That's annoying.
I don't think it will be. I believe this will disappear.
Wow, I've never seen Chris Charlton before. What a dweeb.
Yes, he does not have a face for television, but he is a brilliant man who writes brilliant books and does brilliant commentary.
One of the most knowledgeable people in all of world wrestling. So, and also, I look like a dweeb too. So, I can't.
It's okay. You had one person thinking you were quite attractive yesterday.
Yeah, there were several people. One just took it too far. I told my girlfriend about that, and she went, it's a bit unusual. I was like, yeah. But can you blame them? I don't know about it. I was wasting time on PUBG instead of watching you guys. Well, that is wasting time because anytime you're not watching us is a waste of time.
People still play PUBG.
Tim Briscoe says, "How are we? I'm well. I'm less tired than Tempest. I cannot wait for you to crash about halfway through."
I'm not tired at all. I've got a coffee.
You will be, I'm sure.
No, there's so much wrestling going on right here. Look at the wrestling. Neither of these two people can win the C block.
Well, I will be. I just need to share the stream with everyone, but then I'll be back.
You should do that. If anyone cares about the Young Lion matches, Yota Tsuji has already claimed the best possible record among the 3 Young Lions. So he finishes in the top standings between himself, Yuya Uemura, and Gabriel Kidd.
It's the one everyone wants.
Of course, it's the most important block in the G1 Climax is the C block.
Absolutely. Tempest, tell us the story of how you started working for WrestleTalk.
I would like to think that this is a running joke.
It is, I think.
I would very much like to hope so.
I think it was him who asked yesterday.
Again, fingers crossed. You never know with some of these people. We of course had one particular person in the chat yesterday that liked to ask the same questions over and over again. It didn't turn out well for him.
No.
I had to do some very big favors for people like Andy Datson in order to get hired multiple times. Very big favors.
You enjoyed it.
You've got a nice pair of smooth criminals.
Thank you very much. Let's join.
Look at those thighs. Goodness gracious. What a bridge. It was like a dragon screw leg whip, but he did it to the arm. Very interesting.
I hate that.
Yeah, I bet that wouldn't feel good.
Did you see? Speaking of new moves, did you see Roman Reigns debuted a new finisher last night?
Oh, did he? I was not aware. What did he do?
A guillotine choke.
Interesting.
And he tapped out Braun Strowman with it, which I actually quite like.
Sounds good to me. Braun Strowman,
It's kind of like Roman needed that sort of I'm really hard finisher. I can choke people out, even Braun Strowman. I think that's a really big thing for him.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like a submission specialist, but hey, if it works, it works. And I love Roman Reigns.
Yeah, exactly. Michael Cole, who was insufferable on
Michael Cole, the freak. The freak is back.
The freak.
It's boss time.
He said that it's the first time Roman's ever won a match by submission. So there you go. If you must know, I call him Death Wish Uemura because of that mini program back in February where Uemura just ran straight at Suzuki, then brawled all over Karakuen Hall. Didn't see that,
Karakuen.
but Death Wish is a Karakuaner. Hey, I'm just saying how he spelled it. Hey, even Mox added the bulldog choke. Exactly. So it's all the Shield. I mean, Seth Rollins will be doing a money clip soon. Gacha Teens, you broke your leg yesterday, so you've got to sleep now. Hey, don't be a wuss.
At least you showed up to ask me how I started working at WrestleTalk.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've broken your leg, but surely you're in so much pain that you can't sleep. So you should keep watching.
How did you break it if you're still here? Tell us the story. We need more details.
Yeah, how did you break your leg on the way to working for WrestleTalk? I've never broken a bone.
Neither have I.
I've like torn muscles, and
gotten concussions.
Badly bruised thing and got concussions, but I've never actually, as far as I know, broken anything. I got hit on the finger by a paintball once, and I think I might have chipped one of my fingers, but I never actually got it x-rayed because there was a big weird bruise on my finger for a while.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever come close to breaking a bone, honestly. My injuries have been limited. I did get a concussion once, but that's about as far as it went.
Wait, why does this move hurt? He just crossed his legs. Oh no, that's more painful.
I think the idea is to also spread one's legs like
yeah, but these guys are
spreading your hamstrings.
They're probably relatively supple.
Why don't you go and stretch them and find out? And Gotcha Teen says I was football and twist my ankle. Doc said it's a fracture. It's not a fun story.
That's not a broken leg.
A broken ankle is not a broken leg. It's different.
I hope you get well soon, Gacha Teens. That doesn't sound pleasant at all. Alphard says, do you think Naito loses both belts at Wrestle Kingdom, but to two separate people?
It's possible, I suppose. I think they would benefit greatly from separating those belts and just having another prop to use in storylines. But we'll see.
Oh yes, that is some good shot hocklet. There's a trend over in the UK where people tend to in coffee shops tend to use far too dark chocolatey hot chocolate powder, and I never buy it from there. But there is a Cadbury one which is just so good. It's like milk chocolatey flavor, and it is just
Cadbury is big thumbs up.
Better. Yeah, I'm actually prefer Galaxy in terms of just plain pure chocolate, but I
don't know what that is.
It's by Mars.
Okay.
So if you've ever had like a Mars bar or a Malteser, it's kind of that chocolate flavor. So very sort of it's pretty sweet, but at least it's better than Hershey's, which tastes like vomit.
But Andy, Mars is in the galaxy.
I think that's probably why it's called Galaxy. Just like they've got Milky Way.
Haha.
And I think Snickers used to be called a marathon, didn't it? So that doesn't make sense. Get your chats in, everyone. Send in your super chats if you want to, but we will be reading all of the chats within reason. This match has been pretty standard so far. I do like the energy of Gabriel Kidd. I feel like he feels the need to almost overcompensate because he is not Japanese.
Oh, very nice.
That could be it.
Next there.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Kid hits the sort of double underhook thing.
Yeah, it's almost like a butterfly suplex, but he twisted with it.
Yeah, so obviously that makes it 10 times more effective.
Of course. Ashtoreth wants to know if we like dark chocolate. I do not.
I
dark
cannot
chocolate
stand
is gross.
Chocolate. The only time you can have dark chocolate is when it's with like mint or something like that. So like an after dinner mint. So dark chocolate with like I don't know if you have them over there, but have you got after eights? I
think so.
Yeah, so it's like the kind of dark chocolate with like a layer of sort of minty, almost icing in between.
Sure.
Yeah. Ben Stokes is back. Yes, I've seen that, the Alpha Artist. Ben Stokes is back, which is good to see. Obviously, he had some personal things to get through with his family. But yes, good to see him back playing cricket. Yes. So this is actually only the second day of B Block that we have covered. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see the guys. But as you can see from the opening match, that there's a reason we haven't been covering B Block quite as much. Uemura is very upset that he's lost, even though he has lost several times. I find Gabriel Kidd often has to shout in Japanese and go "Hua!" To kind of try and sort of make up for the fact that he's not Japanese.
Yeah. Honestly, I've watched I think I've missed one B Block show. It's the only G1 Climax show that I have not watched, which I will get around to watching at some point today. Of all 9, or I guess 8 shows that have taken place, this being the 9th, there are like 2 matches of the entire B Block that you should go out of your way to see. And that's it. And there is at least like 2 on every show for the A Block. So you kind of get the sense that the A Block is in fact the superior block between the 2.
Just like I'm the superior presenter out of us 2.
I mean, of course. Who else would it be?
Well, quite. I'm worried like Louis just going to turn up without completely uninvited into our stream.
Oh yeah, he's known to do that. Just turn up uninvited.
Alpha Artist says, what do you think is more likely to happen? Jay getting kicked out of Bullet Club, or Evil and the Japanese guys separate out of Bullet Club and form a new faction?
The former and then the latter. I think Jay gets like kicked out, but because Bad Luck Fale and the Tongans aren't there, it feels like the Japanese Bullet Club all just form a new faction when really it's them separating.
Called what?
I don't know.
The Burrit Club.
Well, that's racist.
It's not. Sorry, everyone. Hilario Coronado says, does that really say day 18?
Yes, I think so.
Yes, there are many days. There are 19 days, in fact, in this. The last day is tomorrow. So we'll have to see how that goes.
Praise the Lord. Hallelujah.
That's when Tempest can start to asleep again.
Yeah.
So what are
Sleep.
these two guys on in terms of records?
I believe Yoshi is currently sitting at 2 points.
Nice.
And I don't think Kenta is doing much better than him at the moment, which is kind of surprising. I kind of figured that Kenta would be doing better right now than he has been. But I don't know. This just hasn't been his tournament to stand out. He's not doing that bad, actually. Yoshi is sitting at 2 points. Kenta currently has 8. Although he went a good stretch there in the middle where he just did not get a win.
I mean, this isn't Kenta, is it?
No,
this is Toriano.
Oh. Well, Toriano has 6. I don't know. I have
Why are you talking about Kenta?
He's in this block.
You're starting to crash already.
No. Craziness. Yeah, Yoshi and Toriano are currently the 2 bottom members of the block with 2 and 6 points, respectively. Gatecrasher Forever says, I didn't watch your stream yesterday. Boo. Says, did you mention that it appears to be back down to 1/3 capacity rather than 50%? I know Kevin Kelly mentioned capacity, but he acted like things were getting better. I will be honest, I have not noticed. The ringside area does look a little bit less crowded. I will say that.
Alpha Artist says Toriano comedy is better than R-Truth comedy. I mean, I think they're both quite tired. I think they both can get quite tiresome because it's kind of all the time. But
hey, it's Hiromu, my favorite wrestler.
What? I didn't think he was your favorite wrestler.
I love him.
I thought that bloke on your wall was your favorite wrestler.
Well, it's Satoshi Kojima. The one who I have in a framed picture with hearts around it.
That is cool.
I needed things for my desk for.
I look like a younger Ollie, Andy. Oh God. I mean, oh great! Like Ollie's such a handsome man. I want to be like that. The only good thing about the camps, this setup in my room, is that for some reason the lighting makes my eyes look incredibly blue. Ooh.
I don't know why this just sprung into my mind, but do you have any idea if there was a reason why Ralph Fiennes in the Harry Potter movies didn't wear red contacts?
I don't. I know why Daniel Radcliffe didn't.
Yeah, they hurt his eyes or something.
Oh yeah, he was allergic to them.
Yeah.
It's also Ralph Fiennes. Ralph Fiennes is someone else.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right, go on.
I mean, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure that's just how you pronounce that name. He's got a very long name. Yeah, it's Ralph Fiennes. That's that guy.
Not how you say that word. That's Ralph.
Where's he from? He's from England. I don't know. What's wrong with y'all?
Ralph.
He's also Serbian.
Wow. Have you seen his surname?
I just saw it for the first time, and it's quite long.
Twistleton Wickham Fiennes. Wow, what a posh man.
Yo, Twistleton. That is an excellent name.
Interestingly, he was married until 1997, which is when the first Harry Potter book came out. So he was clearly too busy being Voldemort.
Of course.
Even though he didn't actually appear in the series until the 4th film. Why didn't
Ralph? I will say Voldemort in the first movie scared the piss out of me as a small child. I did not enjoy him on the back of Quirrell's head.
The end.
Yeah. Didn't like that.
Oh, no. See, the 4th one was the first one to scare me. With all Cedric dying and stuff. Spoilers. Red contacts.
Yano has taken off the turnbuckle pad as he is wont to do. He swung it at Yoshihashi, and he's now knocked down the referee. But Yoshihashi hits Yano with the turnbuckle pad.
Mm.
Again, it's a big pillow.
I was going to say, that doesn't sound like it hurt very much. This was an active decision made by Ralph Fiennes without the use of his real eyes, wherein contacts would make him unable to convey the deep emotional pain, hate, or anger, connecting emotionally to Ralph. Okay, well, he thought that it wouldn't look as emotional if he had red eyes.
Sure. Whatever you think, Rafe.
I just feel like they could have done some kind of editing with Harry's eyes, because one of the massive plot points in the entire book series was you have your mother's eyes.
Mm-hmm. They do say that a lot.
Also, they should have hired someone less attractive to play Hermione, because Hermione wasn't supposed to be very attractive.
Yeah, well, she was a child. How did they know that she was going to turn out to be very attractive?
Turn out to be Emma Watson.
Yeah. I will. Hey, man. Goblet of Fire. When I was like...
The referee
I think I was
over.
like 10 when that movie came out. That was a bit of all right.
Which movie?
Goblet of Fire.
Yeah, that was
the Yule Ball.
2005.
I'm sorry, what?
I think it was 2005.
Yeah, I was like 9.
Yeah, well, she would have been 15, so.
Yeah, as a 9-year-old seeing the Yule Ball, I was like, all right. What a fine actor.
Your Yule Ball.
Haha.
Oh, Yoshihashi has tape now, and he's going to be taping Toriano to the barrier.
See, I don't understand how this is not a disqualification.
I know
he's taping him to his staff. Hey now.
Hey now. Hey now. That's right. Leave the tape there so that he can undo it.
However, will he possibly get out? It's not like he can't just turn the stick sideways. Come on, Yano. Interesting. I don't know that I would try and pull my entire body through the barricade when you could just pull the stick through. Oh, there he goes. He's back in the ring with the stick.
That was pretty good. Pretty good comedic timing, however.
But you can't use the stick, even though you're taped to it.
What is the QR code for? Where?
We have a QR code?
Oh, on I think there's one on Yoshihashi's back.
Pardon me.
I'm assuming it's by his merch or something like that.
Yes, it's to get his DVD. I thought we had a QR code, and I was like looking for it.
Mad Up says Kota won Block A Block A. God, he must be Canadian. I think they'll finally give him a decent title run because he signed that contract? Question mark? Question mark.
It's possible. Honestly, I don't think he won it last year just because of like how the whole double title rush thing was set up. You would do the big title change on the second night as opposed to the first night, and considering they're not doing that this year, I think he has just as good a chance of winning the title at Wrestle Kingdom as anyone.
Has Toriano always been a comedy actor, like since he debuted, or was he ever a serious actor? Wrestler?
Yes, he was going for the Academy Award as best actor. No, I mean he's more or less been this way for a good long while, but he was like a standard heel wrestler for a while as well. Hey, Yoshihashi beats Toriano.
Well, that was not a very good match. Neither were very good actors in that. Very goofy, not particularly entertaining, but it will get better. We promise you all. That was there for a reason. That opened the show because it was going to be like that. Basically, what happened is Toriano went for a low blow after pushing Yoshi into the exposed ring turnbuckle, and Hashi rolled up Yano into a 3 count, and that was that.
So Abhinav Tirumala says, I'm extremely sad because the J1 can no longer happen. It's a disgrace. I hope Ibushi beats Evil in the finals. You know, I would be very happy if Kota Ibushi won the G1 again. Back-to-back winner, that would be cool. Valid Mabedapudi says the lifetime contract is a 2-year contract. There is no legal binding lifetime contract in Japan. Yeah, I would think it would be hard to put that down on a legal piece of paper, but you know. And Wrestling and Comics Awesomeness says, "What's up, WrestleTalk? How are y'all?" I'm doing
We're
just
good.
fine.
Saming the positive guy says, "Okay, I am. Don't care." No, you're not. You're Saming the positive guy. I'm going to make a video where Tempest gives a private interview to Andy to get his job, and I'll send it to you. I'll do that, Andy at WrestleTalk.com. I will look forward to seeing it. What is your dream comedy wrestling match? I mean, anything with Colt Cabana in. When he's really going for it, is very good. I've seen some very good Colt Cabana comedy matches, and it doesn't really matter who he's up against. Maybe some. Okay, actually, you know what? Orange Cassidy versus Minora Suzuki.
Yeah, that match we were supposed to get this year.
Yeah, exactly.
That match is what I'm. That's not true. I would have liked to have seen Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar in a WrestleMania stadium, but regardless, that was a match I was very disappointed we didn't get to see.
Christopher Jazzcat, who with another terrible opinion coming in. Can't watch live tonight, but here's a 5 to say. Thanks for the coverage. And someone is the best. It probably says Andy's the best.
Zack Sabre Jr.
Don't know who that is. Did you guys know that I'm a big fan of Jay White? Says Abhinav. I had picked up on that. We're glad that you are such a big fan. It's good to have favourites in wrestling. So who's this? It's Haruki Goto. Is he up against?
Juice Robinson, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another match that doesn't really matter for anything.
Correct.
But we'll have fun anyway. That's what was so good about the A block, was there are so many matches that made a big difference.
Yes. Even if they weren't important in the pardon? Anyway.
I said Goto's got good music.
Oh yes, some of the best. But yes, even in the A block, even if a match was not relevant per the standings by the end, odds are it would still be a very good matchup. And here is Blues Brother Juice.
We had a big heel turn yesterday with Will Ospreay turning on Okada.
It's true.
B. Priestley making her shock debut. I mean, she obviously won't be a wrestler for New Japan, but she may well be now a on-screen personality for a while. Is Stardom still going?
I know they were running shows, but there were a number of shows that had to be like canceled because of COVID, and that was after they had started up again. So I don't know. I have not heard the latest on the promotion, unfortunately. The Alpha Artist asked, which heel turn do you think would have gotten more heat if the crowds were allowed, I guess, to boo is what he's asking. Evil turning on Naito or Ospreay turning on Okada? It's a good question.
Just because I watched it, Ospreay turning on Okada.
Maybe it's a solid choice, honestly.
Although you don't really get quite as much heat in a Japanese crowd. They just don't clap politely.
I don't know. When Kenta turned on Shibata last year, they were booing pretty hard.
But there were more Americans there, weren't there? Because it was the G1.
I mean, maybe more than your average show, but not a whole lot more. And Abhinav Tirumala asks, do we miss Miho Abe? I mean, sure. Why not? I mean, she's a decent performer.
I think anyone turning on Shibata would have got a lot of heat.
It's also true. But people didn't like Kenta to begin with.
Oh, because of his Noah days.
Well, that and just being like a WWE guy. He came into the company and just kind of had like some stank on him, you know?
Yeah.
Like he just wasn't a New Japan guy. There's something about a guy showing up in New Japan and just kind of being like wanting to be accepted. It's another thing if you come in as a heel and get over that way.
Alvarado says, do you think New Japan would ever break tradition and have a heel closeout Wrestle Kingdom with a belt? Speaking of which, do you see Kenta winning the heavy belt at any time?
No and no. I mean, not particularly for the first question with having a heel close out Wrestle Kingdom with the belt. I don't see it. It's just not the way that they really do business. You know, for a long time, WWE didn't have a heel closing out the main event of WrestleMania, and now it just seems like it doesn't matter. Whoever wins doesn't. Who cares? But no, I also do not see Kenta winning the heavyweight title anytime soon, or ever really. I would be shocked if he won the WGP Heavyweight Championship. And Valib mentions that Stardom is back on normal schedule, so thank you, Valib. Arjun Sharma says, can you see Jeff Cobb back in AEW? Not anytime soon, but I would like to see it. I enjoyed his short run earlier this year.
The report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter is that they will be pushing Jeff Cobb in New Japan following this tournament. So we could see big things from Mr. Cobb in coming weeks and months. Although obviously there's an AEW New Japan relationship, then we could see him in both.
Fingers crossed, but again, the pandemic makes that difficult. As Juice Robinson sends Goto's injured shoulder into the ring post.
Wow, I think we are actually perfectly on time then, because that happened exactly as you were saying it.
Excellent.
How would you measure someone as a draw? I mean, there are lots of ways to measure someone as a draw. TV ratings, merch sales, pops,
ticket sales,
social media hype. I think there are dozens and dozens of like little ways you can do it, but I guess merch sales and TV ratings and ticket sales are the easiest ones to measure.
Yes, any way that you can prove that a certain person has a positive impact on like quantifiable monetary.
Yeah, like YouTube views. That's why WWE were pushing that Lana, Bobby Lashley, Rusev, Liv Morgan storyline so hard last year, was because the segments kept getting so many YouTube views, and they were like, okay, well, we're going to keep doing this.
You know, I hate it because you're not lying.
Mm-hmm.
They were stupid, and that's why they were doing it. Even though the YouTube doesn't make them any money. It's like a drop in the hat. But yes, I will say people are kind of debating whether Kenta is a draw. I would never say that he's like a top draw in the company or anything like that. But Kenta versus Tetsuya Naito for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship earlier this year in the New Beginning in Osaka, that did very well business-wise. That sold out a very large building that would never have been booked for that specific tour in years past. So, put that towards whatever you may. But Kenta was on top in on that show, and it did very well. So, to each their own. The Alpha Artist asks, who do we think will have a good showing in the upcoming Best of the Super Juniors? Probably Hiromu Takahashi and Taiji Ishimori. Other than that, I can't really think of too many guys that they might have in that tournament that might really stick out. There was a report today, or yesterday, I guess now, that Dragon Lee may be out on his way out of Ring of Honor. We've not confirmed that, so do not take that as fact. But if he's not in the Best of the Super Junior, that'll be a big loss for the tournament because obviously he's fantastic.
Did you see that Miro Rusev appears to have spoiled a move to WWE?
I did
For
see
full
that.
details, check out Pete's news video at 1 p.m.
Indeed.
Or I guess it'll be 8 a.m. Eastern. And what if you're up at 5 a.m. West Pacific time, 5 a.m.
Yep. STR says Phantasmo. Yeah, if El Phantasmo is able to get back into the country, I think he'll have a fantastic Best of the Super Juniors.
You'll have a Phantasmo Best of the Super Juniors.
And Valib says that only worked out because of the ending of the Wrestle Kingdom 14. Well, I mean, yeah. And it's like they did an angle that worked involving one guy that was hated, and people wanted to see him get his ass beat.
Yeah, I mean that's
the point.
Like saying something only worked because that's the way they booked it is kind of like that's
all
why they did it.
Like, yeah.
Hey, Stone Cold only worked because they booked him properly.
It's a novel concept. Ashrith asks, what's been the worst match in this G1, you guys?
I mean, that first one was pretty terrible.
Well, that's probably the worst one that you've seen.
Yeah.
Oh god, I think it was Kenta and Toriano is maybe the worst match. I think that was the one that was like particularly bad. All of Yano's matches have been not great. There have been other ones, like Alpha Artist here says Evil versus Naito. It's like that wasn't like the worst match in the tournament.
But it was surprisingly bad.
It was probably the worst main event. You know, so. Abhinav says, but he was booked badly after that and lost his heat. They went into a pandemic 1 week after that show. I think everyone kind of lost their heat after that, considering he was not able to return to the country until the G1 climax. I think Kenta's done okay for himself, honestly.
I blame Kenta.
Oh, yeah. How dare he go to America? What was he thinking? As Juice Robinson gets dropped over the back of Goto's knee. Didn't look like fun. STR says, Ben Carter is a student of Seth Rollins. It was meant to be. Well, shout out to him then. XGino56 says, do you guys think AEW will ever have a G1? What's up?
And I was going to say I was also a student of Seth Rollins.
Oh, yes. AEW, will they ever have a G1? I mean, basically the G1 is just a big round-robin tournament, so given the appropriate amount of time, I'm sure they will do a format like that at some point.
Well, I mean, AEW has already shown that it likes a tournament, so
yeah.
I absolutely wouldn't put it past them.
Juice Robinson has dropped the straps after he and Goto both hit clotheslines. And Goto follows him into the ropes. Juice ducks a clothesline. Goto is going for Ushigoroshi, and he hits Ushigoroshi.
It's an interesting thing, isn't it, that someone taking down their straps has become a sort of, I'm building to something here.
Jerry Lawler.
Was it started by Jerry Lawler? Because I
It's the
know
first one I can think of that
I know
did it.
Kurt Angle made it very famous.
Yeah. I would probably point it back to Jerry Lawler doing it in Memphis. Obviously, Jerry Lawler was, in his heyday, one of the top pro wrestlers of all time. And most people of today's generation probably wouldn't give him the, the due respect, just given that he's a wacky old commentator now. But he was on another level, man. And Juice Robinson now going for the juice, or not for Juice Box, for Pulp Friction. But Goto drops him, avoids taking the move. Many people are suggesting AEW do a big tag team tournament. It's like, well, they did one last year to crown the tag team champions. So it's like,
I'm sure
you can't
they'll
just
do
do a
more.
tournament for the sake of a tournament.
I'll remind you that AEW has actually only been around for a year in terms of Dynamite shows. So they've got about they've got many more years to do all these things.
Oh, Juice has set him up. Oh, Goto now is choking him. Juice looks like he's fading.
Put in the money clip. This is good selling. He looks like his head has actually become detached from his neck.
I was going to say, it looked very strange. Goto rolled him up for a near fall. Juice went for left-handed God. Goto has rolled him up for a near fall.
What I'll say is that having done like wrestling with my brother as a child, if someone pins you like that, it is actually almost impossible to get out of it unless they let you.
Yeah. I will say,
he could sit on top of me and push my shoulders to the ground, and I could not get up.
Yeah. Juice Robinson really impressed me through his first 3 matches, but he has since lost every single match he's done. So perhaps he will pick up a win right here.
Well, it looks like it.
Friction. That should do it.
Wow, what a horrible move.
What, the unprettier?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he hit that one particularly badly. No, he let go of Goto's hands, and Goto just went, all right, fine, and then just jumped to the floor.
Yeah. So Juice Robinson does win that one, finishing with 8 points. Good for him. He needed them. Abhinav with a theory on Cody Rhodes here says, is Cody a heel pretending to be a face? Think about it. The constant interference in his matches, the Triple H style of over-the-top entrances, and the suits. Thoughts on my theory? I mean, I don't necessarily take in those factors to be a potential heel turn. I think him being aligned with, guys like Arn Anderson, when Arn Anderson has also represented FTR, things like that, subtle heel qualities about him in some of his matches, I think have been more of an indication of a possible heel turn. However, too many of their top baby faces are currently turning heel, so I don't know that I would rush to turn Cody Rhodes heel right now. They got a lot of top heels.
Yes.
Not a lot of top baby faces.
Daz Reynolds has asked you if there's any news on The Rock returning. I don't know why you'd know that, but
I know that Roman Reigns and The Rock both said that if they were going to, if The Rock is going to come back, that's the match that they would have to do. But I think I saw somewhere someone saying that it doesn't make sense to bring The Rock back given the current situation, which I mean is true. You're not going to bring The Rock back unless you can, fill an entire stadium full of people.
Exactly. There are a lot of variables, but I mean, WWE would rip his arm off if he said that he was up for another match.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell that they would not agree to that. There's no chance in hell. As a wise man once said.
No chance in hell. Yeah. Booty says for them to do a tournament at this level, it would either take months or sacrifice all other storylines to do the episodes, or like the deadly draw, just put them
Yeah,
on
it
YouTube.
would have to be something that like it would have to be everything would have to, in the show would have to build up to it.
Yeah.
And then their version of the Young Lions matches could be like a couple of women's matches at the start. If they were just going to be
It's
doing a men's
also
tournament.
it's difficult in a sense of like AEW, because like you could do it in WWE because no one cares about the tag team division. Like the tag team division doesn't exist, so like you can put the best wrestlers in WWE in a bunch of singles matches and have really good matches and it would work. But in AEW, there's so much else going on that if you do that with singles wrestlers, your tag team division, which is their strength right now, would completely get lost in the shuffle, and vice versa with, if they do it with the tag team division, then, your top babyface, or not even babyface, but just like your top singles wrestlers also then get lost.
I think a company like AEW, WWE could still do weekly TV and have a tournament. I mean, you could just the storylines could be built around. Look, hey man, we're still feuding, but I've got this tournament match tonight.
Yeah.
So there could still be a tournament going on, but they're like, look, I've got to have to put this storyline on hold for 1 week because I've got this important match. I don't think it would be that difficult to.
No, I don't think doing a tournament like this would mean that you just don't have like storylines or anything like that. It would just be a matter of booking like a sport like presentation where your storylines are, hey, I want to win this tournament, and all of these people. If it's WWE where everyone's wrestled each other 100 times, odds are you've probably wrestled them before, so there's at least a bit of a built-in storyline with whoever.
And also, you can't exactly say that WWE are renowned for worrying about not keeping things lineal and having things make sense.
It's a very good point.
Wow.
Actually, T says, I've been... So, that's my guy. I love him. Actually, T says, I've been watching a lot of old Being the Elite, and I feel like Cody is not going for a heel turn, or at least not the same type of heel. Very interesting. And Brother Nero says, who is the better comedy idiot, Orange Cassidy, Yano, or R-Truth? They all have their quirks.
I'm going to say they're all very different. I mean, I think the cleverest is Orange Cassidy. I mean,
yeah,
because you can just be an idiot, which is what R-Truth does so well. But to actually create a completely new gimmick, which no one has ever done before, that's something special, should we say?
It's like you can dislike Orange Cassidy, but my hat goes off to him. At least until recently, where he actually started wrestling matches more often. I mean, he was getting the most out of doing absolutely nothing, and not everyone can do that. So,
but if you like reading about opinions on Orange Cassidy, head over to WrestleTalk.com and look up my What Went Wrong about Orange Cassidy, where I dive into why I think AEW has made a mistake with their booking of him. Not that I don't like him. I just think they've booked him sort of in the opposite way that you should book someone like him. And another one will be dropping today, where I have a look at why the WWE draft went so badly wrong this year.
Very good stuff.
Mm.
We got a few more comments here. Valid Mabudipudi had said the G1 Climax would not work as well on weekly TV. I don't know. I mean, if you have good matches and a well-built storyline, I don't see why it wouldn't work. It would just be a matter of making sure that everything else didn't get lost in the shuffle. And the Alpha Artist says, how different do you think the B block or A block would have been had Mox shown up, or maybe Miro? Well, I mean, I think you could probably take out someone like Yujiro Takahashi, and that block would be pretty much perfect. Or put them both in the B block, although I don't know who exactly you would get out. maybe someone like Yoshi, but everyone else, like the B block, just kind of suffered from not a lot of like really Evil and Sonata and Tetsuya Naito are kind of like your top three as far as who's being pushed, and that kind of means that like Hiroshi Tanahashi isn't winning as many matches, and that just means that he's not going to be in as many like main events, anything like that. And when he has been, the matches have been very good. So I don't know.
Valab saying that my piece was too long and didn't read it. I mean, it'd probably take you about 3 minutes to read, but whatever. Don't even care, mate. Renee Rangel says, can't watch live, but thanks again for covering the G1. Really appreciate it. Can Randy Datson read my name with his infamous rolling R's? I'm sure that can be arranged. Renee Rangel! There you go.
That was quite impressive.
This is my OnlyFans. And Daz asked whether we're streaming both Bound for Glory and Hell in a Cell. We will certainly be streaming Hell in a Cell. Unfortunately, we just don't have an interest for Impact on this channel. So we won't be doing that, but we will be reviewing any big moments that come out of it on the following day's news. And if there are any particularly huge moments, then they will be covered. But we will be covering it over on WrestleTalk.com. So if you want to see what's going on, see some insight into that, then head over there for the show. You will be able to see the updates on our Twitter, WrestleTalk_TV as well.
Very good stuff.
Yeah, so we've got, how many matches have we got still to come?
3, I believe.
Yeah.
Still got the top 3 matches. So, we've got the main event of Evil versus Sonata, Tetsuya Naito versus Kenta, and then Hiroshi Tanahashi against
Zack Sabre Jr.
Zack Sabre Jr., that's correct.
So is that's up next, is it? I believe.
That should be up next, yeah.
So that should be a good match.
Daz Reynolds asked question that's kind of out there, asked if The Rock, I've completely lost where the question was. There it is. Do you think if The Rock went to AEW or Impact, we would see Mick Foley back with a Rock and Saw connection? I think there's a whole lot of things in that question that are not going to happen.
Yes, I think that's one of those. That's like if you said, "Oh, if I don't know." I honestly can't think of anything to say about that because it's everything. Nothing in that's going to happen. But okay, yes, The Rock's joining Impact. Maybe Mick Foley would rejoin. But The Rock is not going to join Impact. The Rock is never going to join anyone else. If he ever wrestles again, it will be at WrestleMania for Vince McMahon. The man who, despite all of Vince's many faults, he's the reason The Rock is one of arguably the most famous people in the world. I was having this discussion with my girlfriend not long ago. Who is the most famous person in the world? And I argue that it's The Rock. Because everyone knows who he is. Whether you think you know him as an actor, whether you know him as a wrestler, you have heard of someone called The Rock. Like she was like, "Oh, it's not Kim Kardashian." I was like, "No, because if you head to outer Mongolia,
it's true.
Like she's famous, or someone I don't know, someone like Kanye West. Like, my argument is The Rock. Let us know in the comments who you think the most famous person in the world is, apart from me. Bill Gates, yeah, but again, like, I think if you said to some children who's Bill Gates, they wouldn't know, but they would know who The Rock is because he is Maui in Moana. Like he's built this brand where he is everything. He is an actor. He is a wrestler. He is a talker. He's a voice actor. He's even a singer now somehow.
He's a sports owner.
He's a sports owner. I get Bill Gates, but I genuinely think that
I think it might be The Rock, honestly.
Famous. Yeah.
If you told me it was The Rock, I'd be like, I buy it.
Yeah. I mean, it's either him or Toriano.
I knew it.
Is this Tanahashi guy a new up and comer in this?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah. You know,
I see big things for him.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. I was having some drinks with friends a while back and determined who I believe are my 3 all-time favorite wrestlers. Hiroshi Tanahashi is on the list, undoubtedly. He is just beyond incredible.
The Great Khali could also be one of the most famous people in the world.
Oh, sure.
Hogan, I mean...
Nah.
Like, in wrestling, absolutely, but I don't think he had anywhere near the same amount of mainstream appeal as... I mean, in the 80s, it depends what era you're in, because in the 80s, it probably would have been a musician. Because like, it may have been like Mick Jagger or Michael Jackson or... I don't know, Elvis Presley. I know he was unfortunately passed, but I do think in the 80s, 70s and 80s, it would have certainly been a musician.
The Alpha Artist has a good idea.
Bob Dylan
has a good idea. I like this idea.
Where?
Oh, it's an idea that he's doing. Oh, never mind. I was going to steal your idea there, the Alpha Artist. It says, what are your tips on doing an entertaining wrestling quiz? Me and a couple of his mates have come up with our format plans for it. We're calling it Quizzle Kingdom.
I mean, you don't have to. I mean, we've got a bigger platform than him, so we should. we should just steal that. Yeah.
Do a January 4th edition of it.
Yeah, no, I'm looking to, now that we've been told we're going to be back in lockdown, I may well do some kind of quiz for everyone at WrestleTalk.
To actually answer his question of like, what are your tips for doing an entertaining wrestling quiz? Fact check everything. I think that's a good.
That is what makes it the most exciting thing.
Yeah. Additionally, it's good to be loose and go with the flow, but also try and make sure things kind of stay on track. It's like if things feel unorganized, and this is not in reference to anything that we've ever done or anything like that, but just like in general, when shows like that feel like there's no one steering the ship, then I don't know, it can lose track. Honestly, other than The Rock, I think Donald Trump might be able to take that spot.
Yeah, but we don't need to give him any more airtime. What was I going to say? In terms of quizzes, just make sure make sure you have organized rounds. Make sure that you explain the rounds properly, because otherwise your entire time quizzing will be spent. Oh, can I have it that only their first name, or can I do it? Can I answer in this way? It's like, no. If you just explain how you can answer beforehand, explain what the premise of the round is, then then you won't spend your entire time explaining again what it is. Because otherwise you're going, oh, I don't really remember his name, but I know what film he was in. Does that count? No, that doesn't count. I didn't ask for what film he was in. I asked for his name. That sort of thing. Oh, no.
Can't wait for this. This should be an excellent match.
Oh, no. Tempest, have you seen something that I've seen?
Yeah. Sure have. I sent you a private chat. Check it out. This should be an excellent match. Very nice.
Sorry. He's had too many chances.
Apparently, Brother Nero Googled who the most famous person was, and the result came back that it was The Rock. So
there you go.
There you have it. I mean, again, it doesn't surprise me. Brother Nero asks if Daniel Bryan would have more success in WWE or New Japan Pro Wrestling. Well, he wouldn't get paid more or be known by as many people in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but he would probably be booked better. I can say that almost certainly.
Of course, Daniel Bryan returned last night. And he didn't really do anything other than further the Seth Rollins-Rey Mysterio feud.
Can you imagine? You had Daniel Bryan returning from like career-ending injury 2 years ago, and the biggest thing they've done is turn him heel. Like, for Christ's sake, you have that returning babyface and then Roman Reigns returning from leukemia, and then they did nothing with either of them. Oh, goodness.
Gatecrasher, we've had to remove him from some chats just for consistent behavior, unfortunately. And he keeps remaking accounts and coming back in, pretending to be someone else.
Shame.
But this match, as you can imagine, I mean, like I've said in the past, I'm not all that bothered about Zack Sabre Jr. matches, but for wrestling purists, there are a few better spectacles than this, I would say. You've got someone like Hiroshi Tanahashi, arguably the greatest wrestler of his generation, and Zack Sabre Jr., who has such a unique style. You don't get to see this kind of match very often.
Indeed. STR asks, who are the top 5 biggest stars WWE have made in the past 5 years? Not many, honestly. I don't know if I could give you 5. Becky Lynch, maybe?
Sorry, say that again. What was the question?
The top 5 biggest stars WWE have made in the past 5 years?
Oh, certainly Becky Lynch, although she kind of made herself.
Well, I mean, yeah. Christ.
Adam Cole, although he was, again, a big star before he even turned up.
I'd say, like, would you count Roman Reigns? Oh, no. I guess that's a little more than last 5 years.
That's more like 8
if it
years.
If it was the beginning of... if it was the beginning of 2015... I would say like Roman Reigns from when he won the Royal Rumble through.
I mean, I even think Charlotte Flair would be a good chat in that one. Obviously, I know her dad's Rick, but she is very good, even if people don't like her gimmick.
Yeah.
But being a whatever is... How many time champion is she now?
Oh, God, I don't even know. I lost track.
Hey, Andy, my favorite wrestler ever.
I'm not doing it.
My favorite wrestler ever in Bryan Danielson, followed obviously Daniel Bryan for people who don't know, followed by Dean Malenko. Think I like Zack Sabre Jr. Well, do you know what? I absolutely don't. You can absolutely like Zack Sabre Jr. I completely appreciate his style. It's just not for me. It's just my unpopular opinion, I think, and I completely understand that it is unpopular. But there you go.
You're entitled to that opinion, Andy. Goodness. Who's your favorite wrestler ever, Andy?
Oh, just for in terms of like the reason I got into wrestling was Jeff Hardy.
Hey, me too.
I just thought he was so cool because he was jumping. He just jumped off things, and that's awesome. But yeah, so I think for just kind of my memories of starting to watch wrestling, Jeff Hardy. In more recent years, when I've actually been more kind of dedicated to watching wrestling, I think I appreciate characters more. So I'm a massive fan of Bray Wyatt and how he's kind of managed to sort of reinvent himself as the Fiend. I really do like Drew McIntyre. But I got to say Jeff Hardy, because even when he had been away for so long, his return at WrestleMania with Matt was the most excited I think I've ever been watching a sports event.
I can guarantee it was the most I've ever freaked out watching wrestling, and it's not even close. That, no word of a lie, that moment was one of the greatest moments of my life.
In terms of pure dopamine in my body, I was like, holy F. So I was watching it at night in my bed, because obviously WrestleMania goes on to 5 a.m., 6 a.m. my time. I was watching it. It's probably about 3 o'clock at that point. And I was sitting in bed. I was just kind of pretty sleepy. I was like, oh, and the New Day come out and go, oh, who could it be? And they woo-hoo. And when they hit music to hit, I just had a silent pop fest. I was just like,
yeah, when I did it was not silent. It was not silent.
That's because it's on at a normal time for you.
Yeah.
Abhinav, his unpopular. Oh yeah, that's right. Shove in your unpopular opinions, everyone. That's always fun. John Moxley is kind of stale. His biggest character trait was that he was disgruntled WWE guy, and his gimmick is basically a politically correct Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't agree.
What was politically incorrect about Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Well, he just swore a lot and put his middle fingers up.
I guess.
I don't agree, but then that's why it's an unpopular opinion. I think John Moxley has been brilliant, and lots of his matches have been excellent.
I think he's just about as good of a world champion as you could get right now, honestly. We've got a lot of really good world champions right now, but I like John Moxley a lot.
I think you've slightly... I don't think Moxley is bad or boring, and his wrestling style is cool. I just think he's not as big a deal as I think he is. But you don't like him, so I think you've mistyped there. But I get what you mean. But it seems like the rest of the world does think he's a star, therefore you're wrong. No. So that's what I guess that's why it's an unpopular opinion. I don't know about this question. Could be dumb, but then do you think the Fiend as a gimmick would ever be successful in New Japan? I don't. It's very out there.
I think it would work in a promotion like DDT, somewhere where they do a lot more comedic style wrestling. But in New Japan, they kind of build off of the quality of their in-ring work, and that's not what the Fiend is there for. It's like Bray Wyatt, the wrestler, can have a very good match. He's had very good matches in the past. He's capable of it. But that's not what the Fiend character is for. He's there to be, a spooky demon monster that no-sells everything and gets hit with 10 chair shots and just stands up. So,
Jedi Messiah. That is exactly what went wrong with Orange Cassidy piece is about. So it is just overexposure. Yeah. That's not what he is. He is a gimmick. He's like the Fiend. He's like Finn Balor. If you overexpose the demon Finn Balor, it won't be exciting when it happens. If you overexpose the Fiend, it won't be exciting when he turns up. And if you overexpose Orange Cassidy, people get used to the fact that his matches are, I'm not going to try. Okay, I'll try.
Yeah.
My popular opinion is that Andrade is not that good at all, even if he was like he was in NXT. No. It's an opinion. Just because it's a wrong opinion doesn't mean it's wrong. Zelina and Angel Shine.
Wrong opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Again, that's why it's unpopular. I happen to strongly disagree with that, Mr. Shock. But
Andrade is one of the better workers in the entire company. You watch his match with Johnny Gargano in particular, which I was there live for. I can tell you that match was freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
In addition to his work as La Sombra and
He's
everything.
just too Mexican for Vince to push. I don't read, said Jedi Messiah. Well, I guess if you're a Jedi, you can just sort of sense things. And you're the Messiah.
Too. It's hard to kind of follow along with this match just because it's so much grappling. There's not a whole lot of
well, that's why I can't get. That's why I can't get along with these matches, and it's also impossible to commentate on because you're like, he's doing a move. He's got his leg wrapped around his neck, and his arm is on his other arm, and yeah, it's very hard. That's why I find his matches quite tedious.
Well, Tanahashi just hit a sling blade and is going for the high fly flow,
and he 100% will not hit it.
Well,
there you go.
Oh, there you go. I was about to call you a fool, but he rolls through, and he pins Zack Sabre Jr. He's
actually pinned him for about a 6.
I think it was more than a 6. That was like a 10.
Zack
Sabre Jr. is not happy about it, though. I mean, this was a good little match.
This has been quite a common theme over the last couple of weeks in the G1, where the wrestlers in the ring keep fighting after the bell, which is nice because it's like that's what you want to see, I guess. You want to see people fighting who want to fight. You don't go, oh, the bell's over. Oh, there you go. I'm not going to fight you anymore.
Yeah. STR's unpopular opinion is that Bayley is the worst 4-horsewoman comfortably.
I think
maybe by default,
in terms of in-ring ability, possibly, but
they're all good.
By no means is she bad.
Yeah.
Like I would say, in terms of in-ring ability, you've got Sasha Banks and Charlotte, Becky, Bayley. Because as much as I like Becky, I don't think she's anywhere near as actually good in the ring as Charlotte or Sasha. I think she's got a better character and she's better on the mic. But actually, I find Becky's matches a bit stunted. She hasn't got a particularly interesting moveset. She's got the Bexploder and she's got that kind of donkey kick to the corner.
Yeah.
I also think that the disarm her is a bit of a naff move, but I think if you're talking just pure in-ring ability, then Bayley is probably the least impressive, especially with the Bayley to belly. Could there be a time when members of the SWAF Nation could ever be on a Quizlemania as participants? Because I want to do it's the best thing I want to say. It's not something we're planning at the moment. What you can do is that if you head over to patreon.com/partsfunknown and sign up to, I don't know which tier it is, I think it might be the $10 tier. You can, once a month going forward, join in a live stream Kahoot quiz, which will be our sort of mini version of Quizlemania, where we will have it's like a multiple choice thing that you can join in with. It's only for patrons at the moment. But yeah, it's like a multiple choice quiz. It'll be hosted by Ollie, Luke, Adam, someone like that. And you can play along against other members of the SWAF Nation. And you can get a prize if you win that. So do head over to Parts Unknown's Patreon page because it's an awesome way to get involved. And if you pledge at an even higher dollar amount, you will be able to record a question and appear on a pre-recorded question and appear on Quizlemania. So that is a really cool little perk there. So do head over there and check those out. Have a look. My other unpopular opinion, says Abhinav, is that Kenta doesn't get the respect he deserves because of the fact he's a former Noah guy and a former WWE guy, which is why I think he should be an IWGP IC champ at least. Tempest, I'll let you take that one.
Like, respect he deserves, like, maybe to a certain extent. I don't think it's like that he doesn't get respect because he was a former Noah guy and a former WWE guy. I think it's just because his level of work has gone down over the years. Like, this isn't the same Kenta that we saw in 2006 facing Bryan Danielson in Ring of Honor, stuff like that. And as far as not getting respect now, I mean, he's a heel. He's not supposed to get respect anymore, so. I mean, is he undervalued by some fans? Yeah, probably. But I think he's just about where he should be on the card. And Ace Shock says Angel Garza and Zelina have way more charisma than Andrade. Gargano can make anyone look great. Andrade is okay at best. Those are a series of statements. If you've ever seen Andrade work in Mexico and everything, he is a charisma machine. Absolute, just oozes charisma.
I think when you've been as dragged down on the main roster as he had, it is easy to forget that it's almost easy to kind of trick your memory. It can always trick your memory into thinking that someone was worse than they are.
Yeah. It's like you can end up thinking that someone like Eric Young was just a nobody because of his WWE run.
You would think Bo Dallas was terrible. Bo Dallas is a former NXT champion. And actually, his gimmick at the time was really entertaining. But you wouldn't know that if you'd only ever seen. And I'm not saying you've never seen NXT. I'm just saying, I think it's easy to kind of have selective memory about these sort of things.
Recency bias, perhaps.
Yes. Estevan Yanez says, if we're talking about unpopular opinions, mine's that Seth is better than he thinks he's better than he actually is. That's a more I can get on board with that. I do like Seth Rollins, but yeah, he does have a I'm in WWE, therefore I'm the best kind of attitude. Comes out on his Twitter quite a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I was a big fan of Seth Rollins, literally until he had that Twitter spat with Will Ospreay last year. And he was just like, I'm the best wrestler in the world.
I have more money.
I exist. And he's like, yeah, well, I have a bigger bank account. I was like, all right, you're supposed to be a babyface?
The time I liked him was when he got engaged to Becky Lynch, because that brought all the people out, all the weird people on Twitter going, oh, man, she's not single anymore. Oh, that's a shame. It was like, oh, yeah, mate, because you would have had a chance.
Really?
Mr. Hashtag at Becky Lynch is hot fan. You would have really, if you'd met her, you would have rubbed her with your neck beard. Do you think Ricky Starks can be a superstar in AEW? He's super charismatic. He's not a bad wrestler. He seems like he could be a good prick heel or a cool babyface. Yeah, I think he's got the make. He's still very young. He's obviously been a former champion in NWA. So I'm sure he could be if given the right push. He's also arguably the greatest moment of his career was being interviewed by Louis Dangoor on Wrestle2. So if you're interested in looking at him, do have a checkout. Check out that interview with Ricky Starks over on Wrestle2. Well, we are on Wrestle2. So after this, go and check that out. Valab, I don't think you're calling us simps. I think you're calling the people who were trying to hit on Becky Lynch simps. Quite possibly.
Yes. I'd like to
worst fan base is easily Sasha Banks' fan. They are vile and vicious. I haven't actually seen that, but
it's pretty bad. Sasha Banks stands is a thing on Twitter.
What do they do?
They're just, like you said, vile and vicious. They go after people.
Nice.
If you say anything negative about Sasha Banks, they will come for you and your children. The Alpha Artist
I really like Sasha Banks, so don't come after me and my children.
She cool. The Alpha Artist said, could we borrow a Tempest? I think this just means, do you want me to go on your quiz show? Or is Tempest held on your contract? Hey man, slide me a DM. We'll make something work.
The only thing I don't like about Sasha Banks, and this is not her fault, is her voice.
I don't know. There are some things I don't like about Sasha Banks. But I don't want her fan base to come after me.
I don't know whether it's just a Boston accent, in which case I'm sorry to everyone in Boston.
Boston. I just want a Jack beer. Come on, kid. It's wicked. Boston is just bad. That being said, I'm not a huge fan of Sasha Banks' promos. Most of the time they come across very forced, if that's the right way, like forced emotion. It's like, why are you crying? This is not that serious, whatever situation they were in. And that being said, some of her selling I find a bit questionable, but overall, she's quite a good worker.
High praise. Tempest, I just sent you something on WhatsApp.
Yay. STR asks, which of the horsewomen is the best promo / character?
Best promo is Becky Lynch, and I think also best character. I think Bayley's really come out into her own as a promo in the last few months. But I think the way that Becky Lynch got over, you can't ignore that.
Absolutely.
Charlotte has been a good promo, but then all her heel promos were, I am Charlotte and I don't like you.
I hate Charlotte's promos. Absolute, hit the mute button. I hate her delivery. It's awful. Awful.
I don't need you anymore. It's like
that line in particular.
Do you remember? Have you seen Toy Story 2?
It's one of my favorite movies.
When Woody gets his arm ripped, and Andy's like, I don't want to play with you anymore. That's Charlotte's delivery.
It's the same thing. I hate it. It was like that line stuck out to me the most. But again, when she accepted Rhea Ripley's challenge for WrestleMania earlier this year at NXT TakeOver Portland, and it's just, I'll see you at WrestleMania. Why can't you just talk like a normal person?
I will see you at WrestleMania.
Kick her in the head and say, I'll see you at WrestleMania. Done. Not, I'll see you at WrestleMania. She's a robot. If you've ever heard her do an actual interview, she has a very bubbly personality. She can talk. I don't get it.
STR Charlotte sounds if you turn the volume down, up and down, repeat. She really does. I am Charlotte and I don't like you. Alpha Artist, I'll be on your quiz as well. So once you slide a message to Tempest there, I'm sure he'll let me know. Yeah. I'll compete and I'll lose. How much the problem with pros is due to being scripted by idiot creative? A lot of it, I think, because there are very few people in WWE who they actually just go, okay, you've got a 5-minute promo, go and do it. I think John Cena is one of them. The Rock, obviously, is one of them. Stone Cold, one of them. They may give them a talk about this, but they will just let them do it. But much of it, as we know, suffering succotash is ridden by creative, and it's often, I wouldn't say it's necessary that the creative team are bad people, but they are so trapped in what they can write. It's a
redundant job, in my opinion.
What you often hear is that it's not that they don't know what they're doing; it's that they know what Vince will agree to.
Yeah.
To do a tear in your eyes. To do a tear in your eyes.
I think that's a song. I could be wrong. I don't know. Abhinav says, who's the most boring wrestler you've ever watched in a match? By boring, I mean their match isn't a botch fest, but everything is clean, just very unexciting.
Natalia, 100%. No, Natalia is so much more boring than anyone I've ever seen in a ring.
Al Snow is the most boring wrestler I've ever seen in my goddamn life.
Oh,
I'm
tear in
sorry
my
now.
eyes, a Ric Flair Royal Rumble 92 win promo. Yes, no, that is
Oh, I
right.
see. With a tear in my eye.
Sorry,
This
it's just
is
reading
the
that
greatest
sentence didn't.
moment of my life.
Yes. Oh, a tear in my eyes promo. Okay. So the next message said promo. Right, got it. Yeah. Like you could have that story based on the fact that both Cody's challengers have gone to a time-limit draw, and Cody's under pressure to beat his challengers.
This is a reference to.
I don't know. That was out of the blue.
Up there. Alphars. Also, do you think rather than having Orange Cassidy face Cody again in 2 weeks, you could have added him to the TNT title match at Full Gear and made it a triple threat? Like you could have had the story based on the fact that both of Cody's challengers have gone to a time limit draw with Cody before and vice versa, and Cody's under pressure to beat his challengers. So that's cool enough to me. They don't really do a whole lot of like triple threat and stuff like that. Like, you know, it seems to be kind of New Japan-esque in that sense, where they don't really do a lot of like 3-way, 4-way matches. Like they'll do them here or there, but as far as like championship matches go, it seems to be like 1-on-1, 2-on-2, that sort of thing. This match had a lot of stalling early, by the way, and has only just kind of now started to. And as I say that, Kenta rolls to the outside and begins stalling. I shouldn't have said anything.
Tempest.
Yeah, well, that's what happens with Bullet Club, guys.
I'm from Hyderabad, and I live in Hyderabad.
I feel like there was a more concise way to say that.
Jai Telangana. Jai. I agree. Oh, welcome to Jai. We need to figure out a schedule which could accommodate our uni schedule. Plus, we got a couple of my friends located in India, so we got to look at that.
That sounds like a nightmare.
I mean, not the fact that they're from India. The fact that you would have to accommodate their schedules.
Stream between the two of us in 2 different continents is difficult enough.
A lot of my girlfriend's friends are based in Pakistan, and therefore, whenever she wants to speak to them, it's kind of like, yes, I can speak to you at 2 a.m. your time.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Oh, nothing. Just looking through chats and whatnot. Asher, it's 80% of NXT talent sucked when they came to the main roster. I think 80% might be a little strong. There's more than you might think that have done okay since moving to the main roster. But needless to say, the overall track record of WWE stars going from NXT to the main roster has not been good. And Gatecrasher Forever says, thoughts on if Ollie cried after the Good Bros buried him on Quizzlemania. I did feel for him. He appeared slightly intimidated, and he could hardly reply with an insult into the biggest guest you've had on. I think he's okay. As much as I would very much like to say that the Good Brothers absolutely buried him and crushed his self-confidence, I think he's all right. I think he's doing fine. He's a grown man. Esteban says, with Kenny and Hangman being the next AEW World Champions in that order, respectively, if nothing goes wrong, who do you see beating Paige for the title? I personally think Pac or MJF are a good choice. Well, that is booking 4 AEW World Champions into the future. I don't know. It's a situation. I think you've got that straight and correct, that Kenny should beat Moxley and then Hangman should beat Kenny. I think that makes sense, and they should do that. Beyond that, that's probably a year into the future. And whoever is going to be the next world champion after that could be anybody. It could be MJF. MJF would be probably a good choice. But again,
QT Marshall.
Yeah, like we will know when we get there. When the time is right, we will know.
Josh Tilley says, just watching El Fantasma's reaction to... Why? Who's watching that instead of us? Lots of curse words on that one compared to you guys. Well, poo him.
Oh, got him.
Sorry, we've been demonetized. I think Pac should beat Hangman and Cody should win after turning heel. Then you should have Cody versus Face MJF.
I don't know about that one.
I just feel like MJ should always be a heel.
He'll probably be a good babyface, but it's like there's some guys that are just better as heels. Like Jericho's better heel. Randy Orton's
like even if he's a babyface, people will still think he's being like a joke babyface. Like no, I'm fighting for you, and it's like it's almost like it's a heel way of being a babyface. Kenta.
Oh goodness, people talking about bad booking with NXT guys going to the main roster, and Valid says Shinsuke Nakamura doesn't count because he just doesn't care. Yeah, well, when you get jobbed out to Jinder Mahal on back-to-back pay-per-views, I don't quite blame him for not caring anymore.
No,
I won't say that. The one came before the other, the chicken and the egg.
What did come first?
I don't know. Something that wasn't a chicken. That's the answer.
I was going to say it's the egg.
Yeah. Well, it's something that wasn't a chicken laid the egg that became the chicken.
Exactly. That's how things work.
Yeah.
Have you heard that humans are starting to be born without wisdom teeth in the latest microevolution?
That's interesting. I did not know that, but I do find that sort of thing to be fascinating. Naito is starting to pick up a bit more steam here against Kenta. He dropped him with a back elbow and hit him with a basement drop kick as he's now doing his combination. Very good. Oh my goodness, you were very close to the camera right there.
Sorry, I was scratching my back.
Lovely. Kind of look like Megamind when you do that.
I always look like Megamind.
Yeah.
ELP versus Andy at Wrestle Kingdom. Yeah, I mean, I'm down. I don't think he'd accept the match though because I'm too hard.
Gate Crash Forever. Oh yeah, for sure. Says nearly every wrestler on WWE main roster are from NXT. However, apart from Reigns, I struggle to think of a single male star that wasn't a star somewhere else first before going to NXT. Elias. That's one.
Would you call Elias a big star though? Like I think he means like big stars.
I don't know. Well, they don't have any big stars. Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Baron Corbin. Bray Wyatt.
Curtis Axel.
They exist. Curtis Axel doesn't wrestle there anymore, does he?
No.
I don't think so.
But he was a huge star.
Oh, yeah.
He was a Paul Heyman guy.
Every Paul Heyman guy gets over. Like, they exist. Rusev was there until he wasn't.
True. Miroslav Banishev.
It's a great name. How about Mojo Rawley?
Oh, huge star.
Oh, yeah.
Mojo Rawley is arguably the biggest star in wrestling right now. And when I say arguably, I mean you can argue it, but I wouldn't.
Those are the best kind of arguments. I completely forgot to bring this up, which I was going to and then forgot. When we were talking about the Hardys coming back at WrestleMania, I left work early that day because I heard that the Hardy Boys were picked up from their Fan Fest event in a car with a WWE logo on it.
Why would you do that?
Because I really wanted to see the Hardys.
No. Why would you pick up the Hardys in a car with a WWE logo on it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
You want to keep it secret. Thankfully, I wasn't that into like backstage news at the time, so I had no idea it was coming.
Sunday, I had to check that out. I left work early. Got home. I filmed the reaction that I had to the Hardys coming out. And I blew out my voice. I had to give a presentation at school the next day, and I could not speak.
Well, I'll say I have another unpopular opinion about this match. I like Destino as a move, but man, is it convoluted.
Yeah.
It is so ridiculous how much work you both have to do to hit that move that it just doesn't make sense. It's like the Spanish Fly. Awesome move, but my God, there's a lot of work by both sides. Ow, that looked like it hurt.
Yeah.
Spike DDT.
You know, I love Naito. I really do. He's one of my favorite wrestlers in the entire world, but he moves his feet way too goddamn much. That is something they teach you early on in wrestling school. Just his feet are just all, oh my goodness. Huge corner.
Ah!
He nailed that one. He's going for
that is to not actually kick.
Drop.
If you were to build a wrestling YouTuber from the ground, who would it be? And if you were to start a wrestling YouTube channel, who would your 6 top guys on? Build a wrestling YouTuber from the ground.
WrestleTalk. We have the perfect wrestling YouTube channel.
I would pick Ollie Davis, Luke Owen, Adam Blompier, me, and Tempest, and Pete.
Laurie. Wow. You pick Pete over Laurie.
Hey, Pete's my co-host.
I'm telling.
They would look something like me. They would talk in a British accent. And they would be incredibly hunky, like me.
Yeah.
But they would also wear a mask.
Of course. Masks are incredibly comfortable when they're not this way.
It's mask, not mask.
Okay.
Say mask.
Mask.
Thank you.
Right, what you on about? Having a laugh.
Not having a laugh.
Having a laugh.
Having a laugh.
Gatecrasher forever says fair points, Tempest. There are a few names that didn't come from other promotions first. I stress a few. Oh, I paused this by accident.
Most what you'll often find where the Americans and Canadians do an English accent is that they actually end up doing more of an Australian accent.
Oh, crikey, right?
That's the same accent you were just doing.
That's not true at all. I'll put much more twang on an Australian accent. You just
sounds. You just sound like you're from Texas.
Oh, crikey. No, don't you mean like that?
I don't know why, man. Genuinely, there aren't that many like American. That's why there are a lot more British actors who play American roles than American actors who play British roles because it's just so much more difficult for an American to do a convincing British accent.
Sure.
Although I saw recently there is a show on TV called The Spanish Princess, which I haven't watched, but there have been adverts for it on YouTube. And the girl who plays it is actually, she's been in Game of Thrones and things. The girl who plays the Spanish Princess has one of the worst Spanish accents I have ever heard.
Who's the actress?
She played one of I think she played like Ramsay Bolton's girlfriend who Sansa pushes off for the.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm familiar.
I think she's trying to do a Spanish accent, but it is god awful.
Mm-hmm. Someone saying
I'm trying to save our people. It's like, where are you from?
Honestly.
Tempest and Rondi are true champs live stream these reviews. You guys are dedicated to entertaining. And wow, Tempest, do you look tired? Have you crashed?
Slept. I mean, my eyes hurt, but I'm okay.
Well, I mean, actually, tomorrow's stream is probably better for you.
Yeah, I don't
know.
You
it starts at 1:00 for you, and that's not a ridiculous time to be up to. But for me,
2:00.
I've got to be up for 7 on a Sunday morning. What the hell's that about?
You poor thing.
Josh Tiley, I'm not going to give a Spanish accent because it generally comes out accidentally Mexican and slightly stereotypical. So I don't want to offend anyone.
Of course not.
Although I am a fantastic actor and can do a perfect Spanish accent, it's just I don't want to upset anyone.
Yeah. The Alpha Artist says, this stream has been so much fun that I haven't focused much on this match. Missed so many of the streams in the last few weeks thanks to classes, tests, and sleep and time zone difference. Well, I mean, you can go back and watch all of them over on Wrestle2. So you can just feel free to do that when this one's over. Sync them up and watch everything going at the same time.
It's like there are accents you are, as a Brit, I find you are allowed to do without any worry, like an American accent or a Canadian or an Australian or a New Zealand or Irish, Scottish, like no, Kenta kicks out. But there are certain accents which you are allowed to, like South African, kind of white and English accents. But the moment you do something that's a bit like different, so if I were to try and do a Japanese accent, people would go, "Oh, that's racist." If I were to try and do an Indian accent, they're like, "Oh, yeah, that's racist." If I was going to do a Mexican accent, that's racist. It's interesting how that has become a thing. Like, I used to think I did quite a good Southern Asian like Indian Pakistani accent, and then my girlfriend asked me to do it because she is from Pakistan, and she said it was terrible. So wow, they are really just hitting each other now.
Yep. Oh, and Naito hits the
brainbuster sort of thing.
Brainbuster type thing, yes.
But yeah, everyone is allowed to try and do a UK accent. It's just very few people can do one.
Oh, Kenta wins with a roll up.
Oh,
Naito's out.
So Naito's out. Wow. So who? Right. So who can? Evil and Sonada? Is that it?
Yeah, main event, winner take all. Evil and Sonada.
Good way to set it up.
Whoever wins moves on.
But I guess that's good because I don't know. Would you want the old champion in the final?
No, I would think not. This is the correct. This is the correct way to do it.
Oh, it looks like everyone wants Sonada to win.
Well, the other option is Evil, and I would pass. It's true. Oh, goodness. Poor Naito. Very nice. What happened to all of the unpopular opinions? Those were fun.
Yeah, send more of those in.
They're good things to debate.
They don't even have to be wrestling related. They can just be like, I like Marmite. Do you think the IWGP do you think the Iwigup champion will ever win a G1 Climax again? I'm sure it'll happen at some point in the next 100 years, but
given an appropriate amount of time, anything will happen.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Oh, goodness. Oh, Kenta is having a laugh with Hiromu at ringside. That'll be interesting. We might, because there's only power struggle between here and Wrestle Kingdom. So Naito has now lost to Evil, Sonata, and Kenta. Presumably, he will defend the IWGP Heavyweight title against one of them at Power Struggle.
Alpha Artist. I didn't realize the matches were starting that early. Maybe it's because it's a Saturday. I have been following a bit of the IPL, but as I work throughout the afternoon, and the matches usually start about 3 p.m. my time, so it is quite hard to keep tabs up because I work just so hard for you all. What was I going to say? I'm going to tweet out that it's time for the main event. Winner takes all.
Indeed. A couple more opinions coming in. Crasher Forever says, unpopular opinion, I get sick of Minora Suzuki never ending you hit me, I'll hit you forearm best matches. I mean, you're allowed to get sick of them. I sure don't. Minoru Suzuki is a god among men in wrestling. He is phenomenal. And Abhinav says, unpopular opinion, Evil is actually a great wrestler, and his presentation and entrance is one of the best in New Japan, but making him just another interference heel is what makes people not like him. I don't know that any of that is an unpopular opinion.
Here's a fun thing, though. Speaking of Evil, let's go through some wrestling couples and say who the best wrestler out of the two is in ring.
All right.
So Evil or Io Shirai?
I'm going with Io Shirai.
I agree. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, and I'm talking purely in-ring ability.
I'd probably say Seth Rollins.
Naomi and Jimmy Uso.
Correct. Oh, I don't know.
That's a close one. If Naomi was allowed to wrestle more,
if Jimmy has the same amount of talent as Jay,
yeah,
I would say him.
Candice or Johnny?
I love both of them.
Yeah,
but I'd probably say Johnny Gargano. Although
that's because we've never been allowed to see a Naomi classic. In terms of what I've seen, I'd have to say I think I'd go with Jimmy, but that's because I haven't seen enough Naomi matches.
Yeah.
Who else is there? Lana and Rusev.
Well, Rusev's dead.
That's true.
Rusev
Miro then.
I would probably say Miro.
Who else is there?
Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian.
Yeah. I really haven't seen enough of either of them.
Yeah, honestly. I just find Kip Sabian to be extremely, kind of generic, really. I think he's a fine wrestler, but it's whatever.
Brandy and Cody Rhodes.
I'll say Cody.
Yeah.
Begrudgingly. I shouldn't say that. It's Cody. I just really
The Fiend or Jojo Offerman, Raw announcer.
I'm gonna have to go with the Fiend on that one.
That's always a funny one. I like. You never look at like Bray as what's his name? What's his actual name? Rotunda.
Wyndham Rotunda.
Wyndham Rotunda. And when he's not looking like a Fiend, he's a very handsome man.
Yeah.
So that's always a fun one. Charlotte Flair or Andrade?
That's a good one.
Mm.
I'd still have to say Andrade, honestly. Andrade is.
That's very close, though. I think that's very. Mox or Renee? I think Renee's better.
Oh yeah.
I'm a big fan of Renee.
Shout out to Renee Paquette. Anyone who is in Canada and specifically Toronto knows right after wrestling and or aftermath on the Score television network. That's where Renee Paquette got.
Who do I like that's chunky? Because if you're calling Renee chunky, then I think you've got a very low standard.
Saying chunky.
What was I going to say? Ospreay or Priestley? I've seen that match. Ospreay won it, so there you go. Vince or Linda? Linda.
Oh, he was talking about Bray Wyatt.
Oh, okay.
Specifically, he's husky.
I get it. Nice. And Renee Paquette is amazing. It was Bianca Belair and Montez Ford.
That's another good one. Oh. I don't know. A lot of these are really close. I might go Bianca, honestly. I know a lot of people are really high on Montez Ford.
Daniel Bryan or Brie Bella?
Oh, Brie Bella, absolutely.
Triple H or Stephanie?
Stephanie. Oh, no, never mind. She buried as many people as he did.
Event. I'm trying to think who else there is.
Honestly, as much as I haven't, Abhinav says, Tempest is a fellow Canadian. I agree. And can you give a shout out to Fort McMurray? Shout out to Fort McMurray. I hope they're doing okay. They had a really rough time with forest fires and whatnot a few years ago, so I hope they've rebounded by now.
Me too. Adam Cole or Britt Baker?
You know, give it a few more years. That one might get closer, but right now it's Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Alistair or Selena Vega?
Alistair Black. Yeah, oh God, he's got to be Alistair Black, I'm afraid. CM Punk or AJ Lee?
Still going to have to go with CM Punk, but AJ Lee did pretty well for herself during her time in WWE.
Agreed. Maria or Mike Kanellis?
I mean Mike Kanellis, but I mean, I've not seen enough of Mike Kanellis, Mike Bennett's work. All in all,
A couple more. That I'll do one more then if everyone can remember any more. Actually, I'll do two more. Natalia or Tyson Kidd? It's got to be Tyson Kidd. I find Natalia atrociously boring.
It's great.
Brock Lesnar or Sable?
Sable's bag and everything that's in it. Shout out to the two people in the chat that understand that reference.
Killian Day, Nikki Cross. That's a close one. I think they're both very good.
Yeah. Honestly, I think Nikki Cross has really impressed me a lot this year. And given that I don't watch a whole lot of NXT anymore, I'll just say Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
Sonata is not letting Evil's stalling get. You know,
so are they still friends at the moment, or are they enemies?
No, they are enemies. Evil turned on the entire faction way back when. Sonata helped fight off Bullet Club.
It shows you how often I watch.
Yeah, I know, right? But it allowed Naito to recapture the IWGP Double Championship. Jewel Menden says Swole or Cedric. That's a solid Cedric Alexander on that one.
Big Swole is still very new though. She's still very green. Yes. Give her some time.
She'll get better.
Yeah. Keith Lee or Mia Yim?
Well, Keith Lee is a national treasure.
He is.
I do like Mia Yim, but I mean it's tough. Keith Lee is just fantastic.
Yeah. It doesn't help. Like I know we said a lot of the male halves of these couples, but I mean they just get so much more exposure that it's true. It's hard. It's got a real standout on the women's side too.
It's like and it's tough. It just happens to be that some of the very best women's wrestlers also happen to be dating some of the very best male wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking at the best wrestling couples as far as like in-ring ability, like Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano together are fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, like that's probably how they all started dating. I mean, like they just text each other saying, "Hey, you want a main event with me?" Or, "Hey, want to have a main event in my ring?" or something like that.
You want to one day make the world's most talented wrestling baby?
That's true.
Abhinav says, unpopular opinion, Dick Togo has one of the best Bullet Club shirt designs, and Evil has one of the worst. I don't know that I've seen Dick Togo's. Oh, that's not true. It's Spoiler Club. I have seen that. And the Alpha Artist says, future Tokyo Dome main event, Hiromu Takahashi versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. I could very easily see that happening. Evil now is waiting for Sonata to get back in the ring.
Ex-couples, Alexa or Murphy? In terms of pure in-ring, it's got to be Murphy, but Alexa's a great character. Miz and Maurice, that's tough, but probably Miz.
Regrettably.
Yeah,
says Cardona or Chelsea Green. You know what? Screw it. I'll say
Chelsea Green. Yeah, I Matt Cardona seems like a really nice bloke, but
does he?
Just not the most talented wrestler of all time.
Where did I put that one thing? Continue on. Don't listen to me. You like that?
Nice. You could sell that for at least $5.
I don't know about
that. We've been asked to, or you've been asked at least, to explain Sonata's gimmick to.
It's not really much of a gimmick. He's a guy. He's a guy that's in Los Ingobernables de Japón. That about covers it. Also, I have this. Andy.
Oh, what? Sorry, I gotta change my stream. Wow.
Yeah. Perhaps more valuable than a Zack Ryder autograph.
Tessa and Daga. I don't actually know a lot about Daga. So I've got to say
Tessa is very good in ring, so I'll say Tessa.
In ring, yes, that's important to make it clear. Trying to think, is there anyone else?
Yeah, Sonata doesn't really have a ton of like character. He's just like a very good wrestler.
That's a good character.
Like he's with Naito, so he's one of the ungovernables. So it's kind of all there is to it.
Ingobernables.
Ingobernables.
It's a word that Ollie Davis cannot say.
Ingobernables.
I'm going to shoot on Ollie Davis. He does not know how to pronounce a lot of words.
Some people just have trouble with that sort of thing.
If you watch Ollie Davis news, you will see that he mispronounces several words.
It's true.
Love you, Ollie. I know you're watching. Probably not.
Abaddon. That's a good one. From AEW.
Abaddon.
No, he says Abaddon.
Abaddon.
Shout out to her. She's never been seen since, basically.
No. Come back. Ricochet or Casey. They're not together anymore. But Ricochet. Casey was kind of signed because she was really good on American Ninja Warrior. Swan and Su Yung. I've met Su Yung. She's really nice. But I've never really seen her wrestle, so I'll have to go Rich Swan.
I was going to say, I don't watch enough Impact to know for sure. And Valib with a good point, saying Sonata's background is he is an apprentice of Keiji Muto during his time in All Japan Pro Wrestling.
No one's ever heard of Muto.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That was a joke, everyone. Calm down.
Oh, really? And Abhinav says, do you guys remember Sonata in TNA with James Storm and Mahabali Shira and TJP as a faction, and Sonata basically stole Muta's gimmick? I'd rather not remember that. I try and put much of TNA out of my mind forever.
John Morrison or Taya Valkyrie?
I don't care what Nate thinks. John Morrison.
Batista and Dana Brooke. Batista. Dana Brooke's gimmick is, I have biceps.
It's true.
Oh, and also I do a handspring elbow.
Sonata hit a big drop kick, sending Evil to the outside, and then hit a plancha from the top to the floor.
If you like talking about wrestling couples, just search wrestling couples on Google and you will find 2 lists from WrestleTalk.com with every single wrestling couple you could ever dream of.
P. Quinnell has popped into the chat saying, in fairness, that's a lot of men's gimmicks too. Saying, I have biceps.
That's true.
That's all Tony Nese's gimmick was.
Chris Masters.
Yeah. Abhinav says, how big is Batista's belly button tattoo?
Oh no, Dick Togo, how are you possibly going to get out of there? He's crossed your hands and your legs?
How big is Batista's Dick Togo? Well, I think his Dick Togo is the same size as this Dick Togo. There's only one Dick Togo.
Pete Quinnell, that's also Pete's gimmick. Just massive biceps. Oh, 99 viewers. Come on, let's get one more.
Oh, damn. That's really shut up. Oh, the Paradise Lock.
It's because people are actually waking up.
Yes, of course.
It's all the people who live in the Atlantic Ocean, are slowly waking up on their boats.
A double Paradise Lock.
This, okay, kayfabe, this is stupid.
Yes, I don't enjoy this move. It's dumb. Just lean to one side.
Because surely, just get them out the ring and put them in this. They'll never, ever be able to stand up again.
Win by countout. Instead, he just likes to kick them in the bum.
Well, Chris reckons that a Charlotte and Andrade baby would be the best baby.
It'd be a talented baby.
I still think Gargano Michelle, not Candice Michelle. Candice LeRae baby would be the best. Oh, what about Renee Michelle and Drake Maverick?
I don't know. Drake Maverick, because WrestleTalk. Oh, they do the typical thing where Evil passes Sonata's foot to the referee and then kicks Sonata.
A Seth Becky baby would be very good on the mic and in the ring. No, it could be ha 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 ha.
Ha 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 ha. Mix them both
Becky
together.
Or Beth.
I think they would go with Beth. Pete.
What's the best? Yeah, what's the best couple name? Candice and Johnny. Candoni. Jaundice.
If Seth and Becky have a daughter, I hope they do name it Beth, because that would just be too funny.
Rexy for Rexley for Renee and John Moxley.
Or Ron.
Moxley. Yeah, or Ron. Or Money.
Oh, goodness. Gatecrasher Forever says unpopular or maybe popular opinion. Red Shoes comes across as a total idiot. Yeah, New Japan does not do a very good job of protecting the referees. It's quite unfortunate. Sagar says, who do you think will win next week's four-way to challenge FTR? I don't think it's going to be the Young Bucks. If the Bucks were to face FTR, they could easily have done a four-way with top-ranked teams. That's a good point. Might be Private Party. I think that might happen. Considering it's happening at Full Gear, you kind of need like a decently high-ranked team. You know, it might be Private Party. It might be the Young Bucks. I don't know. I just get very depressed at the thought that the Young Bucks FTR match that we've waited literally years for is going to take place in front of a mostly empty building. Just hold off that match for like another year. Not even joking.
John Moxley and Renee Paquette. Ron Paxley. That should be their child's name.
I like it. Huge tiger suplex from Sonata there for a near fall.
Seki Lillins.
I think not. Abhinav says, do you believe that Dick Togo has the best career resurgence in 2020? Guy went from being absolutely nothing to be a key part of Bullet Club. I mean, I guess.
Dixon.
Yeah, sure. Like, as far as going from absolute 0 to like a 2, like that, if you're talking about exponentially, like, yeah, that's a big growth from being at 0. But I would, as far as a career resurgence, if you're talking a resurgence, I would probably say Eddie Kingston.
100 people watching. Thank you all so much for watching. It's very kind of you. We'll be back tomorrow as well for the final, starting at 7 a.m. British time, which is 2 a.m. For the East Coast, and 11 p.m. for the West Coast. So West Coast, you have no excuse not to watch it. In fact, we are in a different day to you, so we can tell you actually what's happening in the world. So Sanada just missed a top rope moonsault. It's really very difficult to call the winner here.
Turnbuckle pad is still missing from the corner that Evil's in.
In terms of a better match, you would probably say Sanada against Ibushi. But maybe in storyline-wise, Evil versus Ibushi would be more interesting.
I don't want to see Naito face Evil again. Their matches have not been good together. Oh, Sanada runs into the exposed buckle. And
the Irish whip is always the move that non-wrestling fans mention to me as how silly it is.
Yep. So think about
stop running.
Yeah. Whenever Will Ospreay does flips, and you're just like, it doesn't make sense. The Irish whip doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Literally just don't run. You don't have to run.
Yeah. Will Ospreay, you don't have to do a flip. It doesn't make the move hurt more.
That's just not true at all. You're talking crazy speak.
Morning, everyone, says Matt. Morning, Matt. You've turned up a bit late, but thank you for joining us anyway.
Yeah, Abhinav says, or Brody Lee. Brody Lee's another good shout.
Yeah, that's true.
Talk about a guy that was at absolute zero. I think he had like 2 matches in all of 2019.
Hey, he was a bludgeon, brother. He was a SmackDown Tag Team Champion. He had a mallet.
He was an Intercontinental Champion once.
He almost challenged for the WWE Championship.
Should have. That should have been a triple threat. Maybe there wouldn't have been bugs on the middle of the ring.
Sanada does need a better finisher. I never really bought, unless it was RVD or Eddie Guerrero. I've never really bought the Frog Splash as a finisher.
He uses a moonsault.
No, exactly. But what I'm saying is that there are moves like that, which are just a top rope splash, basically, that I don't buy. It's the same as like I know Tanahashi's made an entire career out of what is basically a splash. Yeah, I don't buy it as a finisher. It looks like I don't buy Starship Pain, which is a dreadful move, even if it looks cool.
The Alpha Artist says, Tempest, if you were to book Ospreay's new faction, who would you put in that faction? Miro debuts in New Japan as Ospreay's muscle, or he just debuts and joins Ospreay's faction and goes on a tear. Yeah, I mean, Miro sounds like a decent enough fit. Honestly, I don't like. It's kind of tough because if they're all going to be heels, align him with Jay White or something.
Well, I don't even think he needs a faction.
Yeah, not necessarily, but if we're going to put one together, why not?
Yeah.
Might take away.
I do think AEW missed a step with debuting Moxley alongside Kip Sabian. I think he should have just been a monster singles guy who's beating everyone up.
I do believe you mean Miro and not John Moxley.
Did I say John Moxley? I meant Miro.
Yes. I was willing to give them like a few weeks to figure out the Miro thing because they earned the benefit of the doubt. I think it's just a dud.
Jedi, you're saying the Warrior Splash. I mean, the 1980s and 70s were not a. If you're a wrestling fan now, watching wrestling finishes from back then, you're not going to get a lot of good ones. I mean, you had Hulk Hogan winning every match with a standing leg drop.
It's true.
You had,
in all caps, says, haven't watched for a while. Who's the leader, Jay or Evil? I mean, technically, I think it's still supposed to be Jay, but looks like that may not be the case. Perhaps after tomorrow. I smell an angle coming.
That's what Kurt's wife said. Are you struggling there?
A little bit.
Tomorrow's show's 3 hours long.
Yeah, I know. Can't wait. And then I get to sleep for 3 days.
Yeah, I think even I might sleep after tomorrow's show.
Yeah. Sagar says, I think they can actually pull off a surprise win of Dark Order Watching Silver on pay-per-view versus FTR will be amazingly great comedy, and Silver and Reynolds are good enough for that. Honestly, I wouldn't hate to see it, but you do need to realize that it will be on pay-per-view. And will people pay to watch that? Maybe, maybe not.
So the big boot Jedi Messiah can be a great move if hit properly. Hulk Hogan's big boot was rubbish because he would just stand there, put his foot out, and someone would run into it. Where someone like Rhea Ripley, who absolutely lays in the big boot, or someone like Sheamus, that's his finisher. If you hit it properly, it's a great move.
Yeah.
I mean, the Claymore is basically a big boot just off the ground. If you make it your own, then it can be a great move.
Yeah.
Anyone want a peanut? No.
Princess Bride reference.
I do not like peanuts.
Hang on. I got a thing for that.
Do you reckon Ollie would be upset tomorrow if I did the entire stream from my bed?
It's possible. Hang on. Nope. 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 I'll get it eventually. Hang on. Nope. Nope. God damn, there's too many. I give up. One of those says, anybody want a peanut? Like Andre the Giant, because it's a Princess Bride.
Oh, I see. You've been told not to adjust your mask because it's distracting.
Sorry, Julie.
It's probably Eula.
Sure. No,
Madison Rain or Josh Matthews. The correct answer is Madison Rain.
Are they dating? I didn't know that. How about that? Sonata does have his finisher on. This is worth mentioning.
Madison Rain is a very adult actress name.
Well, when you consider that her tag team partners when she got that name were Angelina Love and Velvet Sky.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
You know.
Pete, you're not my boss. I don't care if you're upset by me. In terms of the website, I outrank you. You can't tell me what to do. You're only here because of me, Pete. I got you this job. That's right. Andy Datson shoots on Pete Quinnell.
Sonata's really got his skull end in there. Evil's trying to fight out, grabbing his ear and whatnot. Andre the Giant here says, I don't even exercise. He's just hitting all of the...
The Princess Bride was a great film. It was one of my ex-girlfriend's favorite films. She thought that I looked and spoke a bit like the guy in it. What's his name?
Wesley.
Was it?
Wesley.
Wesley, that's the one. Yeah, she thought. Oh, Dick Togo pulls Red Shoes out of the ring.
Oh, Hiromu at ringside, do the thing, make things right. Shame.
Togo hits
Togo.
Sonata with a.
Oh Christ!
That's right. Put the thing over him to make the blows less impactful.
Oh, shame. Shame.
And yet you stream on Wrestle2 while I present the news on the main WrestleTalk channel, says Pete. Yeah, well, my website makes more money than your YouTube channel, so boom.
Fight.
Oh, Magic Killer.
Yeah.
They've clearly been watching Quizzlemania. Oh. Ah.
Hiromu. Super kick.
Oh, no. Low blow. He must have giant balls because he is selling that.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, Hiromu 10 years later. It's always interesting why they like, no, I'm not going to intervene. No, I'll wait for a bit. Okay, fine. I'm intervening. Oh, magic killer to Hiromu.
Well, enough time has gone by that Sonata should have recovered from his magic killer. So there's that.
Oh, here comes Red Shoes. Oh, he's all right now. I still think Sonata's about to win.
Later, boy. Yeah, well, Evil just said, "See you later, boy."
He was a skater boy. He said, "See you later, boy."
Classic. Evil levels Sonata with a big clothesline.
It is time for the Andy Pete showdown. I will, and I get to pick the stipulation. It is a who can reach the top shelf in the supermarket contest.
That's funny. Oh, goodness.
Oh, Red Shoes is selling his T-shirt being grabbed. Oh my God. It's murder.
Man, I've had enough of this garbage. Oh, Hiromu, do the thing. Super kick.
1, 2, 3.
Yay!
Sonata is the winner.
Sonata's going to the B block. He's done it. Sonata is your B block winner.
Excellent stuff. That is the right decision.
Wow. I did not book a G1 Climax final of Kota Ibushi versus Sonata. How about that one? Holy smokes. Look at you, Sonata. Truly is the year of Los Ingobernables de Japón.
Are you proud of him?
I am proud of him. He was the only one that didn't have a belt coming out of Wrestle Kingdom this year in Los Ingobernables de Japón. Now he's going to the G1 Climax final.
So why isn't Takahashi in this?
Because he's a junior.
Oh. Boo.
Ace Shock says, who will win the D block? Spoiler, it's Batista.
Nice. Right, well, I think because I need to go and record the SmackDown review with Pete after we've finished feuding. But that's all we're going to have time for tonight. So tomorrow, join us to find out who.
If you want to take off, I can do this until the end of the thing, just in case there's an angle here that we might miss.
Oh, fine, I can wait.
I mean, you can go record whatever. You don't want to keep Pete waiting.
Oh, I do.
Oh, I do.
Right, here you go. Don't listen to Chris Charlton. Wow, what a stream, says Sonata. Thank you, my fireflies. I am the Fiend. I really like wrestling. It's my favorite sport. I can't wait to face Jay White tomorrow. Oh, wait, what? Kota Ibushi won? Oh, no. That's more worrying, said Sanada.
My favorite part of this is always when Pete changes over from his personal YouTube channel to the Wrestle2 channel for some reason. As he says, please keep me waiting. I haven't woken up yet.
It suggests that he is doing some work, and therefore he has had to change his...
Yeah.
There was a famous... Recently, we did a stream where both of us were so tired that the entire time we could see that both of us were just going... like all stifling yawns the entire time. Just... It was a very fun time. Okay, well, that is the end of the show, it seems.
Yeah. Well, waiting another 2 minutes or so.
Yes. Well, thank you all very much for watching. Join us tomorrow where we'll find out who will win this year's G1 Climax. It will be either Sanada or Kota Ibushi. What a match that is likely to be. Don't actually know the rest of the card, but I'm sure it'll be equally entertaining to see. I'm sure there'll be some tag matches, a few singles matches, maybe even some young lions going head-to-head. We'll just have to wait and see. Thank you all very much for watching. We will see you all tomorrow. Do click on the links that have appeared on the screen. Do give us a subscribe and a like. Share the video with your friends, because the more you share, the more we'll be able to do this sort of thing in the future. But for now, I have been Andy Datson. Over here has been Tempest, and we will see you